Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Teresa here, and today I'm working in December Daily 2022. I'm gonna try to complete day 15 today. I am skipping 13 and 14 for now. I will share those with you next week, but for this week I wanted to work on some projects for the Traci Reed creative team. And so this layout is a 2-page, 7 by 8 1/4 hybrid layout using the Candy Coated Christmas from Traci Reed. And so it was a lot of tedious process in this layout. So I thought I would do half the layout and then hop on here and kind of explain to you what I've done, and then show you the second half of the layout coming together. And so mostly I started with one of the Traveler's Notebook signatures in the Candy Coated collection that had these adorable little ornaments on them. And I thought I would do a layout about some of the Pusheen holiday memes that I had seen going around, and I'm a fan of Pusheen and always have really liked that silly little fat kitten. And so I thought what I would do is put the little memes into the ornament, inside the ornaments, and then also do some little shaky ornaments. These have already been sealed, and they're just layered with the frame on top, the transparency piece, and then some other just plain frames underneath and stacked, built up onto the page. And then I also have one blank one that I'll probably use for the number for today. And then I also have a regular lined one for my journaling. And so I'm just gonna show you, first I'm gonna show you how the hybrid part of it went in the Silhouette software, and then I'll show you the completion of the layout. Okay, so before we go into the Silhouette, we're gonna do just a couple of things in Photoshop so that we have the ornament shape itself to cut. And so I'm starting in the Traci Reed Candy Coated Christmas Traveler's Notebook signature, and you'll see that this signature has the 5 ornaments plus the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and of course it has the little hangers. And we don't need the numbers for this particular layout. If you need the numbers or want the numbers, that's fine, you can leave them. But I am going to show you how I delete those. It's a little cheap way to delete those, and also how to get rid of the little ornament hangers so that we don't have to cut those. And I'm going to do this with the new little toolbar that Photoshop has recently added. I do use the CC version on the PC, and I've found that that's a little bit easier and a little bit of fun to use that. So first off, let's get rid of the little ornament hangers and the numbers. And like I said, it's it's kind of a little cheat, but I'm going to use the spot healing brush. And so go into that and make it big enough to where it'll take care of the number for you, but not distort the background. And so just go in there and spot correct the background. Again, it's a little cheap, but it works. There's a lot of different ways. I always say there's a lot of different ways to do things in Photoshop, and to do the thing that works for you. And maybe if you've never seen it done this way, then it can be helpful for you. So then I'm also gonna go ahead and delete the little hangers. Get as close in there as you can. You can zoom in, but for the purposes of time, I'm just gonna leave that like that. I think you get the idea. And then once we have these all corrected, I do want to say save this as your print and cut file separate from your product files so that you don't corrupt your original. Don't ruin your original signature. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the quick selection tool, and that makes it a little bit easier to create the next layer that's going to have the ornaments on it. So while I'm in the quick selection tool or object selection tool, whichever one, go down to your new bar, your new little taskbar, and hit select subject. And when you hover over that, it says create a selection from the most prominent objects in the image. So it's going to recognize the ornaments as the prominent elements in the image. And when you hit select subject, then it does ants marching around all of the frames. Now, if you want the lines in your frames, we'll capture those too. But for right now, let's just capture the solid border on the ornament. So now that you have all your ants marching, then go into one of those little solid lines and right click and select layer via copy. And so now what you have is the background layer, which is the original Traveler's Notebook signature. And then on top of that, you have layer 1, which has most of the ornament frames. And so we're going to clean those up a little bit. There's also one more thing that I think we can do is I notice here on the green ornament that it needs a little bit more filling in. So let's zoom in on this. And here's where the object selection tool can help fill that in, or the quick selection tool, sorry. So make sure that you're on the background layer, and let's see, where do we want? We want that frame right here. Oh, that's good. And then I'm gonna hit shift and grab the little pink part as well. And then while I'm hovering over that, go ahead and select layer via copy. And so now you have 2 layers with your ornament frames, and we're gonna right click on the top layer and select merge down, and then that way it's all one layer. So that also gives us the little notebook or the notebook paper, lined paper background. Go ahead and layer via copy, right click and layer via copy for that one, and then or actually let me undo that. On this one, do layer via cut, so that way your layer 2 will just be the ornament frames. And let's just turn that off for now. Go back into layer 2, and now we can zoom in and clean this up. And I'm just gonna very quickly use the magnetic lasso tool and just draw on top of this and close that little rough drawing so that the ants go marching. right click on it, layer via cut and delete. And that cleaned that up nicely. And then we can do the same thing here on the side. And that gives us just what we need. Close it up, ants go marching, layer via cut and delete. And then let's see if there's anywhere else we need to clean up. Yes, this one here. We're going to do the same thing with the magnetic lasso tool. Let's clean the top of this up a little bit. That may need an eraser. Layer via cut and delete. Yeah, okay, we'll come back to that in a second. Let's finish up in our magnetic lasso tool. And I just follow that frame that's already been created there. Right click, layer via cut and delete. And then to fix the little hanger thing, just grab the eraser tool. Make it a good size, a small enough size that it'll just do that for you. And there. Then one more thing is on this red one, it needs a little bit more filled in. We could do it the way we had already done the green ornament up here, but this is just another way. Go back into your spot healing brush, dial it down small enough, and then let's see. That's really messy. Staying within the lines. There you go. You can get a pretty good fill on that. And again, there's probably a million ways you can do this. This is ways that make sense for me, and they're just pretty easy to accomplish. So now you have all of those on one layer. If you're probably going to want them on separate layers, maybe not. It's up to you. But if you want them on separate layers, then just staying on layer 2, use the polygonal lasso tool and just draw around each one and save it on its own layer. Get your ants marching, layer via cut, and then you have just that one ornament on its own layer. So once I have that, then you also, of course, want the lined backgrounds for some of them. And at that point, it's pretty easy. Let me go ahead and delete these because I don't really need them. Go back to the background layer and turn off your frames layer, or save them as their own file at this stage. And then go back into the quick selection tool and select just those lined backgrounds and hit, let's see, can you do several at a time? Shift, yes you can. If you want them all in one layer, then just hold down the shift key on PC and then select them all, right click, and layer via copy again. And then you have both your frame and the lined background. Now, if you're going to place a photo into these frames, I got you. So I've pulled this up already. This is one of the Pusheen memes, and I'm just going to duplicate that into the original tab that I'm working on. Here we are. And then, you know, figure out which one you want to put it in. But let's zoom in a little bit so that you can see it a little bit more easily what I'm doing. And first I'm going to size that down a little bit so it fits a little bit better into the ornament. And then we're going to fill in the rest of the ornament with that background color so that the lines don't show. So get that the size that you want it, how you want it positioned within your ornament. And you can do this for a multitude of things. You could tuck little wrapping paper samples behind these, sequin pockets, of course, journaling, your event photos if you're using it for an event. Just a bunch of ideas for using this layout idea. Okay, and then once you have that, first off, let's select that background color. So, hold up while I have a brain fart. There we go. Your eyedropper tool. That word. Select that color and then go to the layer that's, let's see, actually, let's use this layer. And remember how we used the magnetic lasso to copy this? This is an instance where you're going to want this copied. And I'll show you why here in just a minute. So close that, make your ants go marching. Your ants go marching. Layer via copy, because we just want that on this layer. And then let's pull that underneath the frame. So we're right there. Okay, and then while you're in that layer, go to your color fill or your paint bucket tool and fill that in, and then you've got a consistent, cute little ornament there. It does have the little photo is hanging over a little bit, so you can fix that, or you can let the silhouette cut it off for you. But if you do want to fix it, I just go back to the I go back to the magnetic lasso tool and just draw real quick around that edge, because it's already there. Make sure you close it out. get your ants marching layer via cut and delete. Perfect. And then go back to that layer and, oops, not that layer. The layer that your image is on, or your meme. And then close it, layer via cut, and delete. And then you do that as many times as you want to, and then you can begin the process of saving everything as its own file. Bring it into the silhouette, and I'll show you how I've brought mine into the silhouette right here. And so there's two ways that you're going to print these and cut them. The first way is, as you can see on the screen here, I have an 8.5 by 11 page size with the registration marks turned on, and I've brought in the full ornament size with the memes, and some of them have just a plain white center, and some of them have the lined paper for the center. And so these are the main ornaments that are going on the page, and then we're going to build other frames on top of that. One thing you're going to want to do when you print these out is make sure that some of them will still read the red line around the center, but we want the whole ornament shape printed on this particular page. And this should have all 10 ornaments if you're going to stick with the format of that Traveler's Notebook signature. Okay, So that's one print. A second print is going to be the ornament frames that you use to stack so that you create the depth for the sequins or whatever you're going to use, if you're going to do a little window pocket or if you're going to do a pocket ornament or whatever. So this goes just through on plain white cardstock, no printing, no registration marks, we just want the frames themselves. And then the other thing you're going to want to do is, the third print is to turn on the registration marks, move them so that they fit within the registration marks, and you're going to print and cut the top layer, that's the frame itself, with the green, the red, the pink, and cut out the centers so that you can create the windows, or you can see through to the meme on the bottom if you want to. You don't have to, and I think I didn't do that, but that's just some choices that are available to you, and hopefully will help you create this layout for yourself. Okay, final section of the video. I know it's a little bit long, but I thought you would like to see the background work that went before the process. So at this point, you can see where I printed out 2 separate pages for the background. The back page has the plaid pattern paper on it, and the background page on top of that has the solid pink, the ornaments, and a little strip of ribbon. I also digitally added the little sequin mix. And so now you can see how I am building each little ornament to create the depth, to create the spot for the sequins, to create the spot for the journaling and the number. And the others will just basically be glued down with foam tape so that they'll have a little bit of dimension as well. And I think that that's part of the fun of this. If you're interested in the sequin mixes that I'm using, the one that I just put down is from Doodlebug, and then the little red and green mix came from Michael's. It's the Recollections brand. They're little tiny trees, holly leaves, and holly berries. And then there's also the random jar that I have no idea where it came from, but probably Target. So some of these I did have a little bit of, when the silhouette trimmed it out, there was a little bit of white space left around there. So I cleaned them up a little bit. I am using Tombow liquid glue to adhere the layers together, and that seemed to work out pretty well. I like that glue because it dries pretty quickly. It gives you a little bit of time to adjust where it's going, and it dries clear. And so you can build that glue up. If it goes over a little bit, it will dry clear and you won't really know that it's even there. And so, of course, having a well-sealed pocket for the sequins is pretty important. I did cut a transparency layer so that it could be see-through, and I just cut that by hand. It just seemed the quickest way to accomplish that. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else to really point out. I think that I've gone over most of it. And of course, you know, you'll be able to see close-ups at the end of the video. You'll also be able to see this layout plus the recent layouts I did for days 11 and 12. You can see those on the Traci Reed blog now. They are live, and the write-up is included with still images that you're welcome to pin and save for your own inspiration. And again, just writing the journaling there on one of the ornaments and popping that up again with the pop dots. You'll see, or not pop dots, foam tape. I'm going to punch those pages real quick and adhere them using a red line tape. These are layouts that sit in the album without page protectors, and whenever I do that, I try to use red line tape just to keep it a little bit more secure, make sure they hold up over the years. And then for my day number, you'll see on the right hand side, I have a selection of numbers, and it seemed fitting to use a small number while I fiddle with this red line tape. It seemed easiest enough to use a small number that fit within one of the ornaments, just as everything else on the layout has. And in the end, that was a wise decision. So I went with the little chipboard 15 from Vicki Boutin from last year. And I let that ornament sort of overlap a little bit onto the plaid pattern paper, which allows that to stand out a little bit as its own element. And of course, you know, draws an extra emphasis to the number 15. And keeping everything inside the ornament frames really helped keep this layout simple. And I didn't even really notice it until after it was done and I had left my desk and I came back and looked at it sitting there, and I realized that the layout was actually I don't claim to be a minimalist at all, but it's almost minimalist, especially for me. And I really like the clean, consistent look that came out in this layout. I think it turned out beautifully. I went and grabbed the little Ellie Studio, this little month stamp, and used it for the December to go underneath the number, and a couple of little tiny stars around the layout. And let me go ahead and adhere this number. I did peel a couple of layers of chipboard off of it, just to help reduce some of the bulk. And then I realized, oh no, some of this little ornament didn't quite get sealed well. So I got that taken care of, and I'll probably check it one more time before I put the album away, or when I come back to do the next couple of days. There was one more thing that I wanted to do, and that is add a title. So I'm going to grab some puffy stickers and select a set of puffy alphabets that seems to work best. I think that red is probably the best choice, and so that is in fact what I went with. These are from Freckled Fawn from a few years ago. I'm not sure when. I have all of my alphabet stickers, just the small sets, cardstock, puffy, whatever, in these little bath containers from Target. They work fantastic for storing these smaller sticker sheets They'll fit most of the Freckled Fawn packs, the Ellie Studio packs. Some of the Freckled Fawn packs, I just turn them sideways. I've got Studio Calico in there. So they work out really nice. Just a little organization tip for you there. And so I'm going to just add this fun little title here that just simply says, "We love Pusheen." And I'm just using this kind of little lighthearted alphabet. I felt like that fits the mood with Pusheen and being a cartoon, and feels a little light, but it does round out that layout and complete everything really cute. So thank you so much for watching. I think that's it for today, and I hope that you will come back and watch some more pages from this album and go check out the Traci Reed blog, and I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.